Hi, welcome. I'm Reverend Patricia Caginello from Sacred Stories Publishing, and we are holding our first annual Author Summit. Right now, we're speaking with Helen Heinmiller, who's written a spiritual adventure thriller called Final Redemption. So, welcome, Helen.
Thank you, Patricia. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're so excited you're here too, because the book that you've written it's tremendous. It is tremendous. It's exciting. It's been compared to kind of a cross between a Tom Clancy novel and Dan Brown, right?
Right. They're voted at the shack.
It's a murder shack. So I don't know if you can get any better than a cross between those three. So Helen, do me a favor, hold up a copy of your book of the cover so everyone can see the beautiful cover.
Get both me. There we go.
So it's called Final Redemption, and it's available from Sacred Stories Publishing, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much worldwide. But we're having a special 20% off all books from Sacred Stories Publishing from our website. So I encourage everyone to go to sacredstoriespublishing.com, check out all the books, find your favorites, and they've all been discounted 20% until November 30th. Also, if you type and say hello in our comment in our thread, we're giving away a free copy of Final Redemption to one lucky person. And I say lucky because it's a phenomenal book. So share what Final Redemption is about.
Well, Final Redemption is a story of a young middle school teacher named Emmy Harris who's about to embark on a humanitarian adventure when an angelic woman appears to her, delivering an upsetting message and also sparks memories of the mysterious events around her mother's death when she was 4. Well, after this happens, a series of unimaginable events lands her in the middle of an international crisis where she is faced with not only trying to save her own life, but that of all of humanity. And so in the meantime, Emmy's crisis becomes this wonderful opportunity for a covert spiritual group named HELP, which stands for Human Evolutionaries Leading Peace, to prove to the Pentagon that there are other ways to combat evil in the world, to overcome evil in the world. And so when HELP gets Emmy's case, they realize that it's time sensitive and their small group are not going to be able to do what they need to do to prove to the Pentagon that this will work. So they're forced to come out of the shadows and reveal themselves to the world and call on the world for help. So as the clock ticks down, Emmy is faced with evil itself and has to go to the depths of her soul to find the strength to survive, while all the world must come together to resolve this global crisis that could be the catalyst for the end of humanity or the means to our final redemption.
You do that very well. You would think you know this book pretty well, or
lived with it for a while.
And I was kind of like just grinning when you were talking, and I laughed a little bit. And it's not because it's a funny story. It's just, for me, this is so exciting because I know what a tremendous story it is, and I know. I mean, it's exciting, and it's nothing to laugh at, though, because what's happening, it seems almost as if the world continues and events in the world continues. There seems to be a lot of parallels with events in your book that you've actually wrote a couple years ago, and we just brought to publication last year. Kind of speak to that and the parallels and what that feels like as an author to have written this book and then be following the world events today.
Well, I think I started the actual storyline, in my head 3 or 4 years ago. And when I got it, the outline down onto paper, I thought, well, this is a crazy adventure. Who's going to believe that these kind of events can happen in the world? And as I wrote the book and when we published it, all of a sudden, a lot of the events that we're seeing today, whether it's the series of Earth catastrophes that are, draining our resources and are really making us exhausted in the plight that many people are going through, plus the new nuclear threats that we have with North Korea, it almost feels like this book is becoming a prophecy. Now, that kind of feels like doom and gloom to me, but the exciting part is that there's a beautiful answer in this book that is a real truth, that is like an angelic message that is being brought to us, that we already have the power, both individually and collectively, to change our future path if we would open up our hearts to this truth.
So we're not giving away the ending because that would just spoil it. We're not going to give away spoilers. However, you're saying that it could possibly not be total doom and gloom, right? And that the power is within us. So
that's the exciting part of the book, is that there's a message of hope that really brings us some faith in the human spirit, that we always have had the answer. And I think the biggest theme of the book to me is that love always wins. And we're seeing that play out, even with the nasty stuff that's going on right now in the world. We are not, it's not visible maybe on the regular media sites, but there are so many people in the world that are stepping up and doing something to change the world. And if everybody did that, we would have great resolve very quickly to the plight that we're seeing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book, just a shout out, if you're on with us, if you say hello in the thread, one lucky person will get a free copy of Final Redemption. And also, if you have a question for Helen, this is a great time to, ask your questions about the book Final Redemption. And that's what we're talking about. So Helen, so it's a spiritual thriller. You mentioned an angelic message. We always love when angels are mixed in. You mentioned the Pentagon. You mentioned covert operations. You mentioned natural disasters. You mentioned the clock ticking down and having to save humanity. And right? I mean, no wonder it's been compared to a cross between a Tom Clancy and a Dan Brown movie, and compared to having the feeling and emotion and depth of The Shack. So a really beautiful book. For you as the author, what type of people, who do you think, this is really geared towards? I would really enjoy this book.
Well, I think anybody that is looking for inspiration right now would love this read. I think anybody that is into curling up with a good adventure and on a cold winter night, this is the kind of a quick read, but really brings you fully into the story. So it's for those people that are looking for a better life, and just looking for solace, that there is that part of us that can rise above the regular everyday, gunk that we're in sometimes. So, I think inspiration is mostly what.
And you mentioned a quick read. I mean, it's a couple hundred pages. It's not, I wouldn't call it a quick read, right? To me, a quick read is, you can get through it.
A lot of people that say they finish it in 2 days, so.
Probably because they can't put it down.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those can't put down reads, is what we'll say. Anthony has a question, wants to know what inspired the book, if you can share that.
Well, what I like to do is use storytelling to convey messages, spiritual lessons that I'm learning. And I've been working with spiritual guides who have shown me this, actually what is in the book, they have taught me. And I'm using storytelling as a way to bring about a paradigm shifting thought of how we can be in real life through storytelling. And I just also, I love writing about passion and love and adventure. And so that just seems to be my natural talent.
Well, it seems to me that Final Redemption found its perfect home at Sacred Stories Publishing.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome how that works out too, right? That wasn't planned. So again, a free copy of the book to two people commenting in the thread. We'll pick one lucky winner. All books at Sacred Stories Publishing, the Final Redemption being one of them, at sacredstoriespublishing.com, are 20% off through November 30th. So that's another special bonus from today. We're talking with author Helen Heinmiller about her spiritual adventure series thriller, Final Redemption. Helen, I have a question about the book and Final Redemption. You mentioned a covert secret group called HELP. Mm-hmm. Tell us again what HELP stands for, and share a little bit more about that, because that to me is, really raises kind of the coolness factor of an adventure book, having a covert group involved.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, HELP stands for Human Evolutionaries Leading Peace, and I created that group in my head that I want to do someday. I want to have this type of a group of people that are leading the new human evolutionary movement. So the help group is a group of people that found each other, just like you and I found each other, coincidentally on a vacation. But they went to this meditation, and they discovered that this wasn't just a meditation. This was a woman, that a spiritual woman, who was telling them a deep truth. And when they set off at the end of their vacation to go home, they realized that none of them are the same. They're changed forever, and that they have to do something with this knowledge. And so they formed this group called HELP, and their intent is to teach people this specific method of, and I don't want to get into all the details, but this specific method that we have available to us to change the world.
I love the acronym for it. I love the name for it. And I just learned something, because I didn't know that you had that passion to start a group or be a part of a group like that. So it's always something to learn. Helen, and this isn't fair to ask an author this, I know that, but I want to ask anyway, what is your favorite part of your book, or what was your favorite part to write of your book?
Okay, that is a good one, because I have a couple, but I think generally I liked writing about Emmy's journey, and because I think every one of us can step in her shoes, and she's this wonderful, sweet, slightly naive person that starts out in this adventure, and through the story and through her trials, she discovers a personal power in herself that no one can take away. And so there's a couple moments in the book where she starts finding her strength, and she's facing evil. So it's this one person against this very evil force, and she is able to find her own personal power in those moments.
It's really such if I have called it incredible, tremendous, phenomenal, it really is. It's all of those things, and it truly is an honor for Sacred Stories Publishing to share your book, because it is that much of I believe, a gift, for others to be able to read it. Helen, hold your book up again so we can see the cover to Final Redemption.
Go back a little.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. This is Final Redemption by Helen Heinmiller. Again, it's a spiritual adventure thriller. It's available from Sacred Stories Publishing, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, really retailers worldwide. Comment, say hello before we jump off, and comment in the Facebook thread. We're going to pick one lucky winner to get a free copy. And again, all books are 20% off at sacredstoriespublishing.com through November 30th. Helen, share your website and how people can get in touch with you, please.
My website is evolvingtruths.com, and you can contact me through the website or Helen Heinmiller at verizon.net.
Final words, thoughts for our audience, your audience?
Well, I love that we're doing this in the season of light, and because I know at this time of the year that there is a big focus on love and the power to bring others joy in the world. So I just want to say that I'm so grateful to be part of the Sacred Stories community, because I'm thrilled that I'm with a group of people that are here to help change the world, and I encourage everybody to embrace their own power to be part of this change.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And books in this season of light make great gifts for ourselves and for others. So just that shout out. Anthony says thank you for writing the book. He's looking forward to reading it. And so we will end on that note. Thank you, Helen Heinmiller, very much for joining us. And we will be back at 4:30 Eastern Time with our next author, Kyan Abendroth, and we'll be talking about our children's book, Albert the Peace Tree. And tomorrow, November 21st, we will be working with our authors, sharing our authors, having conversations with our nonfiction authors. We have a full lineup tomorrow afternoon too, so stay tuned for that. So thank you so much for joining us, and until next time.